There's no pressure of a marriage, so we can really focus on our relationship and friendship. We both believe that we're meant to be in each other's lives for a reason, and this is the reason.
Yeah.
And having that 15-year relationship and experience with each other has developed this to what it is today.
Hello and welcome to Separate Bathrooms. We would like to acknowledge the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation, the traditional custodians of this land, and pay our respects to the elders both past and present. I'm Cam Daddo.
I'm Ali Daddo. Do you reckon we need to introduce our names at the top every time?
Or why not? Because I reckon the way I was trained is there's always a first time.
That's right.
There's
That's
always
what I
a first
think
time
too.
listener.
Yeah.
And so it's acknowledging the first time listener. For you long time listeners, I apologise. I might do go, I'm Cammy D.
Well, I listen to a lot of podcasts myself, and so I'm a long time listener to a bunch of different podcasts, and they never introduce themselves anymore. And sometimes I'm like, hey, like, what if I don't remember, who are you?
Yeah,
like, and sometimes people don't even speak. Like if it's a couple or three people talking, sometimes one person doesn't even get introduced or speak for ages, and then you hear like another voice come in. I'm like, wow, it's like maybe that's like an ongoing conversation.
Maybe
rather
it
than
is. For me, it's about being respectful of our listener.
Sure, there you go.
You know, I just want to respect them and go, this is who you're listening to right now, and I'm really grateful that you're here. And that's the way I was trained.
Yeah.
In this game, you know, I'm really only speaking to one person, and that's you who's listening, and I'm bloody stoked you're here. All right.
Well, speaking of respect, I'm going to segue into our couple.
All right. Yeah. Well, with endings and beginnings, and beginnings and endings leading to more beginnings, lifestyle, relationship cycles. That's today, right?
Right.
I did write this. Despite the usual Hollywood formula of happily ever after for most people, relationships are messy.
Can be messy, yeah. And we all know they're good ones, they're bad ones, and some which exist squarely in the in-between.
And then there's the case of the ex.
Yeah. Can you be friends with an ex? Ex-boyfriend, ex-husband, ex-wife.
Ex-partner.
Ex-partner.
Some say yes, some say no. Mm-hmm. We are human. We are emotional beings.
We are.
And we are unpredictable. Today we've got a couple that have said yes.
Yeah. Well, there's definitely more to it. So let's find out what. Please welcome Amy and Jono Castano to the bathroom.
Guys, welcome to the bathroom. Let's get right into it. Right, just run us through your history quickly about your relationship and where you're up to today.
Yeah, sure. Okay,
Ladies
well, we met really young, probably about, 17 years ago?
17 when I lied to you about my age.
Yes, he did. He lied to me about his age.
I did actually. Sorry.
He said he was 2 years older than what he was. So I am a little bit older than him.
Smooth talking bastard
Yeah.
over there.
I love it when you say
From a young
smooth.
age.
Exactly.
And so, we've known each other for that long. We were together that whole time. Jono was in and out of Sydney doing like football, so playing overseas. So it was a long distance relationship for a little bit. But then once he settled down here in Sydney, we were settled, and it was just like everything was, the expected thing to do, like, get married, have kids, buy the house, all of that sort of thing. So we went on and got engaged, 10 years into our relationship?
Yeah, I'd say about 10 years.
Yeah, about 10 years. On our 10th anniversary, probably.
It was Melbourne,
it was
wasn't it?
in Hawaii.
Yep.
So he proposed there. Beautiful proposal. Like, it was amazing. And, we got married, what was that, like 3 years after?
I'm trying to remember the year now. It sounds so bad.
It's all a blur,
terrible.
to be honest.
Sounds terrible. I can't remember.
It's all right. It's okay. It's all right.
All right. Normally people get a tattooed or something. They just look down and they're like,
Yeah.
But
so we got married, and then it was 2 years after we got separated.
Yeah, we separated.
Yeah.
Did you both know? Did you both kind of look at each other and went, I think maybe not?
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess like my experience would be like it was all I've known like my whole life. Amy's obviously been my best friend and my soulmate for that long, and I don't know anyone else. I think I was very confused at first, and it was extremely tough, feeling like I've failed. It was only after I'd done it, and it took a lot of time for me to understand myself and why I did that decision. And to this day, like I understand now why it had to happen. Like we're even closer now. Like we're a lot closer. We're a lot closer friends, to be honest, than what we were partners.
Yeah,
I
we
love
work so much better.
So 17 you met. Jono, you were 12. And
but hairy already.
And today I'm
Yes.
21, so
Jesus.
like, you know,
Okay.
timeline's a little bit off.
Okay, so timeline's a little bit. We're talking the span of about your friendship and marriage lasted about 15 years. That be
Yeah,
right?
a bit
Yeah,
over
about-
that, yeah.
About 15, 16, I would
Yeah,
say.
yep.
And so now you are not together.
No.
Correct.
You're with other partners.
Yes.
You
yes.
both
yeah.
have. Do you have kids?
Yeah, I've just recently had my first one, baby Gia. She's 13 weeks now. Gia.
Oh,
yeah,
she's
so
brand new.
yeah. So
Congratulations.
thank you so much. It's quite funny because Amy's actually the godmother of little Gia. So I
Yeah.
think that
Wow.
kind of
Yeah.
Well, we've got lots to unpack here.
yeah, there is. Yeah, we got like it's
love
kind of
that.
Yeah.
And Amy and my partner are extremely close friends, and likewise with me and Aaron, Amy's partner.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's quite funny because a lot of people actually think we put on this act that we're actually all friends, and they're like, you guys are just surely doing this for like publicity and social media. I'm like, nah, man, like this is legit. Like actual, like we're actually normal people and we get along.
Has it surprised you how much interest there's actually been in the fact that you're a divorced couple that are now friends?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. And I think there's such a stigma around that, being like, oh, anyone that I speak to, I couldn't do that. I wouldn't be able to do that. Oh, you're friends with his new girlfriend. Oh, I wouldn't be able to do that. It's like, what? Why are you holding on to so much? Like, if you hold on to that, I feel like you're not letting go and not letting what we have, like, develop and what it has developed into today.
Yeah, because you grew up together. Like, that's how Cam and I feel. I met Cam when I was 20 and he was
32.
25.
No, I wasn't.
32 pretending
I was
to be
24.
25.
You were 20?
24, yeah.
Yeah.
And so I feel like, we grew up together, and no matter what happens, like that's just a really special thing. You know, you entered into adulthood together like you two did. You're even younger. But, and if it didn't, if you're able to move past it ending in a really horrible way, I know relationships go south really bad, but I think, what do you think that says about divorce then, about what the world feels about divorce, that it feels like it should be on bad terms with your ex?
Yeah, I think it's just like Amy was saying, that stigma that people create, it's kind of that, like, as soon as you break up with someone, you never see them again.
Yeah.
But for me, I think each individual should look in a bit deeper and actually remember the positive experiences that you shared together rather than that overpower the negative ones.
Yeah.
And I think if you can remember that, like, we had such great times together that I'll never forget. I think that's kind of built that relationship of being best mates now.
Yeah. And I think as well, like when it came to the end, the hardest part was we still wanted to be in each other's lives, but just not in that capacity.
Yeah.
So it was like, okay, if we cut ties, does that mean we don't see each other ever again? Like, what does this mean?
Yeah.
That was the hardest part for us. Yeah.
I'm thinking about the partners. It's one thing for you two as exes to go, I still really like you, but I don't want to continue on an intimate level with you anymore. You are asking for understanding from the new partner, because I imagine a new partner might turn around and go, what do you still, not especially in your case, Amy, but I imagine, I know guys get a bit jealous. So new mate goes, hey, well, why still hanging around with Jono? This isn't cool. So how do you navigate that part of it?
When I first got back into the dating scene, anyone that had any issue with that issue of me and Amy being best mates, I actually just stopped talking to them.
As a red flag.
As a red flag,
Right.
yeah. I said, hey, like, this is part of my life, and it's either you go with it or you don't. And I've actually lost probably about two two people that I was actually talking to over that.
I would have thought that would have been the majority of people, wouldn't it?
Jeez, okay.
I would have thought that would have been the majority.
I was two as well. I was two as well. Yeah, that was the same for me. I was very upfront and quite blunt and being like, I think because I went through that period as well, I discovered myself what I wanted out of a partner.
Yeah.
So I think me being upfront, being like, this is my baggage, unpacking it all straight up. And if someone did have an issue, it was the same thing. It was like, well, this isn't going to work then because this is my life and this is what is a part of it.
There's, obviously we've heard a lot about Gwyneth and Chris doing their uncoupling and all that
conscious
stuff.
uncoupling.
Their conscious uncoupling. Did you two seek any sort of outside help, therapy or anything to sort of help you through it? Or because you sound really grounded and smart the way you've handled everything.
Towards the end of the relationship, we actually got our relationship counselling, which I think kind of worked really well in terms of like understanding emotion. And because for me, I'm kind of like a person that holds in a lot, and like a lot of males do. That taught me a lot to express my feelings on how I'm feeling, and if I'm not feeling this certain way towards Amy, like being able to actually tell her without just holding it in and just kind of going with the flow, which once again, so many guys go with the flow and it's like 20 years down the track, they're unhappy.
Yep.
And I think to myself, like why? But yeah, definitely I got a bit of help, and Amy did as well.
Yeah, definitely. And I think, that couples therapy that we got taught me to listen.
Oh, okay.
So he was holding it in, but it taught me to listen because, as females, we're always the right one.
Hang on,
so,
what? I think the record just scratched.
Correct.
Being a female, you're always the right one, or in the right, or are you in the right place?
Well, that's what we're told. So I think that opened me up to being like, okay, he's actually,
trying
to tell me something here. Yeah, so that was hard. That part was hard.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
And how have your families, both your mums and dads, dealt with you guys being best mates still?
Oh, they're our biggest supporters.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Very much so.
Like I still go over on my own. I still go over on my own as well,
Yeah.
And
like
so do my
son,
parents
probably.
as well. My parents pop over to Amy's parents' house all the time.
Yeah.
Which I think that's such a beautiful thing to see as well,
Yeah, because it's like, our relationship, marriage ended, not our relationship. Yeah, it doesn't mean everyone else has to be. And I feel like at the start it was so much like that. Like people were picking sides and felt like, where do I sit here? Yeah. Especially our staff. Like that was hard for them.
Yeah, in our business.
Yeah, in our business. Like people were like, oh, like who do I back here? But it's like, we're good.
At what point did you, so you'd started the business and then you were separated? How soon after the business?
Was it about a year, maybe?
Yeah,
so
probably. Yeah, probably a year. Yeah, about a year.
What do you think it was that? I mean, because clearly here you were 10 years together. Then you get engaged. Then you get married. You've started the business going.
Yeah.
What was it that sort of
kind of just like ticked it off? I'd probably say, for me, like, I don't know. I feel like towards the end we felt like best mates. Like, we weren't, I remember towards the end, we weren't even sleeping together. And I think that's such a big thing in a relationship. Like, for me, my love language is touch and feel, and I wasn't getting that. And I think kind of once I started to feel that, I didn't feel valued in terms of what I felt. And then that's when I was like, we're more best mates rather than lovers. But that's how I felt.
Yeah, I'm the same. My love language is touch. So, when that connection is severed, it's very hard to, I think, bring that back when you go into like a different part or different dynamic, which the relationship did. That was it.
Well, you both reckon you got the similar love language, which is touch and feel, and yet for both of you it let go. Was it because of the business got in the way, or was it something?
Like I remember our relationship, I feel like every time that we got home, it was all about work.
Yeah, okay.
And we were excited about that.
Like, we were excited
that was
about
like everything to us. We were like, oh my God, this is what we can do with the gym, what we can do to grow it and everything else. But there was no other connection like how was your day or
and because
anything
we did
else.
Everything together as well.
Yeah, we did everything together.
I feel like a good relationship's like, having a bit of space as well and doing your own thing. And
I would say it was very codependent.
Yeah.
Right.
Very much so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you explain what that means?
It was very much like I wouldn't do anything without him and he wouldn't do anything without me.
Like go on holidays all the time together.
Yes. Or even out.
Even out.
So
yeah.
when we did, it was such a different thing for us. Like if he'd go out, it'd be like, okay, what's going on here? Like, what did I do wrong? But that's normal. That's healthy to be without your partner.
Yeah. Yeah. How do you feel the friendship has evolved since the divorce?
I'm more open with Amy and telling her, like, in terms of my downfalls and, you know, for me personally, when I'm feeling my lowest, when I used to hold that in, more information about that. And I'm so much more open with Amy now. Like, she knows absolutely my whole life. And, you know, like, if I'm feeling down from work or, you know, I got a comment and someone said something, or because I'm such a sensitive soul that I feel like someone says something, I'm like, oh man, like I try to keep everyone happy, and I think that's probably one of my downfalls too. Yeah, like I said, just more open with her, to be honest.
Yeah, and I'm the same. I think there's no pressure of a marriage. Like, there's no pressure to be like, okay, I've got to be a great partner. I've got to do this, that, all these things at home, these responsibilities. It's more so we can really focus on our relationship and friendship. We both believe that we're meant to be in each other's lives for a reason, and this is the reason.
Yeah.
And having that 15-year relationship and experience with each other has developed this to what it is today.
That said, now you've got your new relationship. How do you plug in what you learned from this marriage into your new relationship so that doesn't happen again? Because clearly, I mean, that could very easily happen again, where you
100%.
become mates and you sort of let that side that matters to you go.
For me, there was a massive, like, probably 2-year discovery period of myself, which I needed because, as Jono said, we grew up together. So it was very much, I didn't know who I was without him.
Yeah.
And same with him. So when I did that, you know, full discovery period where it was just myself, I really found out and figured out what I value in a partner, and what I will accept and what boundaries I want in a relationship. And I think I'm quite harsh on that now, like very solid in that. And Aaron is very much aware and he's great with it. Like, one of my biggest values is that I have my own life going on and he needs to have his own. That's one of my biggest things.
Yeah.
And he does.
Yeah.
With my obviously current relationship with Simone, it's very different. Simone and obviously Amy are completely two different people, and we spend more quality time because we're not talking about business, we're not talking about anything, we're talking about each other's, you know, what we love doing. And I think, you know, we're doing a lot, like we go on a lot of holidays together, which is saying that, you know, we barely ever got to do sometimes. So yeah, I'd say, that's kind of like, for me personally, what I'm trying to do now with my relationship.
Good for you. Good for both of you, actually. You know, that's the only way to grow in a relationship is to be in a relationship, you know what I mean? Take the good, take the bad, and understand yourself better. So I love that you both have done that.
Because I brought this up with Al the other day for us. No, I said because people split, and this was maybe in preparation for you guys, you know, and talking with you guys. You often hear we get along much better now that we're not married. We don't have the constraints of a marriage around us and stuff. And I said to Ali, I think it's a great idea to live like, why don't we put in our marriage that
Trying to remember this conversation. It all sounds brand new to me.
It was one of those. It was a serious one. It was a serious discussion.
Okay. Bring
me
like, back to it.
Instead of breaking up, instead of splitting up and divorcing, let's put ourselves 6 months down the road. Like, we get along so much better now that we're not married anymore, or that we don't have that. What are the constraints that we're putting on ourselves that are stifling this relationship? Let's live like that now so we don't have to leave the relationship. Remember that? Because I said, I have no intention of leaving our relationship. And you said, neither do I. And I'm like, great. What's sitting on us?
Yeah.
That's creating this feeling that we're like, oh God, it's like this heavy. And I don't want to be that guy that walks around going, oh, my ball and chains at home.
Yeah.
I better get a hall
course.
pass.
Yeah,
I better
yeah,
do
yeah.
this. I hear it all the
That's
time.
terrible.
Yeah, me too.
And it breaks my heart when I hear it from other men because it shouldn't be that way. We choose, right, to be married and we should continue to choose. And yet, there's this moment. And so you guys chose to walk away and still be friends. I would like to be friends, be lovers, be the whole thing with Al. I want to have the whole kit and caboodle. I want that. We've been together for a long time and things evolve and things change. Gosh, I've done a lot of talking in the last minute.
No, which is
but do you
great,
know what I
though.
mean? Do you know what I'm
I
saying?
totally understand.
I understand.
I feel
So what do you guys say to that?
First of all, I totally agree. And I don't know, I feel like we just put so much pressure on ourselves in terms of like being like a perfect couple all the time and trying to impress everyone. And we actually just forget on what a relationship is. But I totally agree. I think.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. But I think there's more to it in the sense of sometimes connection is lost. Sometimes your values don't align anymore.
Yeah.
At the start they might have, and at the start they did. We were, 17 years old, and we were like, he's everything to me. And it developed into it being that we were everything to each other. Everything else didn't matter. But there is a whole other world out there that we both weren't exposed to because we got together so young.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it was just our mistake that we didn't allow for those boundaries or restrictions to be upfront with them.
Yeah, but I guess you were doing what you knew, weren't you?
That's
really?
it. Yeah.
It's like I think we all just muddle through. I mean, there's things that, in our relationship that I would actually now cringe and just go, oh my gosh. But I just was doing what I was like, okay. That's all I know how to
wearing
do.
socks to bed tonight. How much more sand in this bed can I?
That's right. Why did he not wash his feet before he got into bed? It's so true. It's so true. Have you found yourself giving advice to people now who are going through divorce, or do you have advice for people going through divorce? Are you become a bit of a sage for all that now? Well, you're on our show, so clearly.
Yeah. Yes, a lot of, I do get, say, Jono and I post a photo together, or, I'm holding Gia, post a photo with her, or Simi, or we're on holidays together. People see that. People just reach out and they're like, this is so inspiring.
Yeah.
Like, I'm currently going through a breakup and I just wish to get to that point. But I think to get to that point, it's two people that want to.
Sure.
And you
Absolutely.
cannot control what that other person feels or wants.
Yeah.
And you kind of have to be accepting of that and also allow time to heal. Time heals everything.
Yeah.
That's what I always say. So I think that is the main thing that I would take away from all of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's more said, eh? Wow. I'm here like,
That's great.
Like, I'm
great
here
assistance.
listening. I'm like, wow. Like, that's
Right.
actually, I actually felt that. And for me, I'll probably say no, not really,
Yeah.
I still feel like there's part of me that felt that I could have done more, It's just me as a human. But yeah, definitely I just try to stay away from stuff that I don't know. Like if you talk about health and wellness, and hey, I'm your guy,
Yeah, right. Right. Don't make me a relationship expert.
Yeah.
Gotcha. How would you feel like if Gia, she's 16, she's madly in love, and she's like, I want to be with him forever and ever, Dad. What happens?
I think Dad just got the shotgun.
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, our son he's been with the same guy since he was 16, and he's 24. And I don't see it ending. It's like
I guess, but that's kind of one of those things. You never see it ending, right?
Yeah.
If it was Jao, I guess you have to meet the guy and make sure he's a good person and go for it. Treat my daughter right, and that's perfect.
Yeah, and that's as far as you take it.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Not like Auntie over here will just be like,
I'm sure.
yeah.
I know.
It's so tricky.
Yeah.
You wait, mate. You get
I can
it's
imagine.
such a tricky thing because especially when the kids are adults, they're adults, and they've got to make their own choice. So it's that whole thing about when you talked about acceptance, I think that's part of getting older too. It's that straddling the line of acceptance and intention about what you want. You go, okay, because it's tricky because you can't be telling what to do. You can say, here's my thoughts on it. But even then, I only give you thoughts if they ask for it, or say, I'm about to tell you something. Do you want to hear it? It's that whole, holy crap, parenting adult kids is a tough thing. But we're talking about relationship. We're talking about you guys being in a relationship and falling out of a relationship and then continuing another one, which I think would give a lot of hope for people.
Yeah.
Well, you mentioned the word values before. Your values changed, and that might have been a cause for why you guys ended up taking separate paths. In your communications with people that you're dealing with, would you say fight for the relationship, or what's your sort of take on that, having been through what you've been through now?
Yeah, I think you do fight for what you want, and if a person is what you want, then absolutely fight for it. Do everything that you can. But I also think there gets to a point where that fight just doesn't give anymore.
Yeah.
You can't give anymore. When you get to that point, that's when you kind of have to get to that acceptance phase and be like, okay, what is next? This is what I want. Maybe that person, because we are dealing with humans and feelings. You can't control that at all. And that's where you kind of have to go, okay, maybe there's someone else out there that can give me what I want.
Yeah, I think it's hard to get to that as well, right? You know what I mean? Like to actually understand on the next step. Like 100%. I think it's so hard for someone to...
Comfortability as well. We were so comfortable in our relationship.
Yeah, don't want to rock the boat.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Was it always that way though? Like particularly when you first decided, okay, I think we need to separate. Was there ever a moment where things got heated, or has it always been?
Yeah.
My
God.
Okay,
I'm dealing with a Colombian and also I'm quarter Spanish. So I mean,
the Latino blood was flowing.
Exactly.
So how did you navigate that stuff?
That was, look.
That was a bad time, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think, that was a very bad time.
Sure.
We actually, for socials, had to film the day that
Oh, yeah, I know. Yeah.
we broke up, and then the day after you had to come over and film, and you could tell in every aspect that, when I look back at it, I'm like, wow, that was such a bad day.
Yeah.
But we had to get through it, and we did it.
Yeah.
And how did you get through it? Because I know people that are going through absolute hell right now.
Yeah.
What did you do?
I had to suck it up, and I knew how much, obviously, the job meant to Amy, and I needed to be part of it. And But I sucked it up that day, to be honest.
What do you mean? Okay,
just kind of sucked it up and just took on all the pain and just held it all in and just kind of
compartmentalized everything. Yeah,
pretty
just
much.
Dealt with it, and then as soon as I finished, I just literally ran out.
Yeah.
But I felt the emotion as well. I cried as well. It was such a tough time.
It was a tough time. Well, there's phases, right? You grieve through loss. You're losing something that obviously means a lot to you.
Yeah.
So there is the phase of sadness, anger, then acceptance. I'm sure there's a lot of other phases that we all went through. But I think just with that, I learnt to just leave the conversation if it wasn't going anywhere. And we obviously learnt that in our couples therapy. So kind of prepping us for that. Yeah.
Yeah, how good's that?
Just to leave the conversation if it doesn't get anywhere. And then you pick it up when you can actually talk again rather than, going at it.
Just going at it.
How did you find your therapist?
I think maybe just Google.
Was it just Google?
I think it was just Google.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, couples therapy, Sydney.
Found the right one. That's awesome.
Google reviews.
Yeah.
And was it the first one, or did you go through a few?
It was the first one.
It was the first one,
Yeah.
It was Zoom
She's
as well.
probably listening. Oh, well, I don't know if she is.
It was on Zoom as well.
It was on
wasn't it? 'Cause
Zoom. But she's probably like, where are those two now?
Yeah.
Like they never came back and booked an appointment.
Yeah.
So how many times did you go see her?
It was 5 or was it 5,
about
6 times?
5 times.
Yeah, something like that.
And then you ghosted her.
guys that are gone.
We did it ages ago, remember? We did it like ages ago before our marriage.
I do remember that.
Remember?
Yes, that's
we
right.
did.
Yeah.
We saw him for like a year.
Yeah, so we had someone and then we used someone else.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
But we still see therapists now.
We both see separate therapists now, just to work on ourselves.
Yep. Now, you do have a baby together in the sense of your business, as you called it before.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about that and what roles. Is it like a 50-50 business, or how does that work with the two of you?
Yeah, it's 50-50. We opened up during COVID. It's a gym, got 23 employees now. When everything was happening, it was difficult to, like we spoke about, choosing sides. It's what we always wanted to do together and still continues to take up our everyday life.
Yeah, well, we've grown it from one location to two locations. It's now an app as well, so it's on the App Store, Google Play Store, and we also have fitness apparel as well. So within that 4-year span, we have definitely grown it. Yeah.
Fantastic. And you both found yourself like on the same page, business mind. Like that's been an easy path for you in the business side of things.
Definitely. There's obviously strengths that Jono has that he pushes me to like way over my limits, which is great because it's something that he sees in me. He sees that I can do more.
Yeah, great.
And believes that I can.
Yeah.
So you kind of need that in your business partner. And then the same with him. You know, he's obviously, he comes to me for certain things and I obviously give him advice. So, yeah, I think we play on each other's strengths for sure.
Nice.
Yeah.
100%.
You talked about before with your employees and friends when you split as well that they didn't know which way to go. And I mean, I imagine that must have been hard because we live in a society, I think, where people want to be right and they want to make someone a bad guy or a good guy. It's easier to follow that way. Did you have to take the people in the business aside and go and have a meeting about, okay, now we might have split in our marriage, but this is how the business is going to go?
We did.
Yeah, I think how long did that take to do?
It took a while because we still were fit. We wanted to have that time to ourselves to be able to navigate through what we're actually going through. Obviously, there were chatter. There was, feelings of, okay, something's not right here. But it was also during COVID lockdowns. So people didn't know what was going on. Yeah. So it wasn't very apparent to them that something was going on with us. Obviously, there was feelings, but not a massive amount. So we were kind of lucky in that sense. Yeah.
You guys are great and brave, and thanks for coming on and talking with us about it. Because I'm sure if you're looking at it from an outside point of view on Instagram or something, it's like, oh, yeah, it's all great, we're friends, but there's a story behind it.
Yeah.
And
you worked hard to get where you are.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I reckon it's really important that people know and understand that, because I can dream into a situation where if I might be in a situation like that, I'm going, God, these two did it so seamlessly, so easy. But there were bumps and bruises along the way, and you did have to have patience and acceptance, and it took time.
Yeah,
absolutely. It does take time.
Thanks for letting us know that, because it'd be really easy to go, oh, yeah, it was done. Why can't you be like those two and just get over it, and let's just move on.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Hey, we do a thing called the 2-minute shower, where we get you to answer questions quickly.
Nice, okay. Love that.
Yeah. So you're our
cold
first.
Shower.
That's right. Quick shower after the gym. You know what it's all about.
Yeah. So you go first, honey.
Okay. What would you say is your best quality?
Oh my goodness!
My best quality, go above and beyond.
Oh my goodness! Wow. Drive. Yeah.
There you go. What the world needs more of is
loving people.
I was about to say love.
Oh,
yeah.
Close.
Burpees or watching a good movie?
Oh, choose watching a good movie.
Same.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Same. Burpees, I hate.
No. No one's going to choose a burpee.
No.
One likes
Is a burpee, just as you guys are in the business, is if you were to choose one exercise to keep you universally in shape, what would it be?
We're out of the shower
Probably,
right now.
probably running.
Yeah.
running?
Go for a run. Yeah, it's good mental release.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What would you say?
Yeah, running the same.
Wow.
Just
I thought it would
Not
be
a
my
burpee.
knees.
Yeah, maybe change that one to a run or something.
I would have thought burpees.
Yeah.
No.
Some people.
Universally
I
hated
said, if you got
those.
sore
Yes.
knees, my knees.
Go for a swim.
One last question. One word to describe each other.
Hustler.
Jesus.
In a good way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Assertive.
In the best way.
I'd say assertive.
Assertive.
Assertive. Yeah. Well, that's what makes you good business partners.
Exactly.
Correct.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
hustler, assertive. Yeah.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Dream team.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, thank you so much for coming in and sharing your
Agnes.
story. And as Cam said, it is inspirational in the sense of knowing the hard work, the therapy. We're big proponents of therapy in here. So, yeah, thanks for being honest and sharing what you've been through. It was really great talking with you.
My
Thanks
pleasure,
for having
pleasure.
us.
And I hope it does, help any couples that have gone through the same thing.
Yeah.
The same journey as us.
Yeah.
Us too.
Off they go. Was that surprising for you?
Not in some ways, maybe a little. Like I really valued their wisdom. Yeah, I actually found it really refreshing the way they spoke about each other and their experience. I mean, it was certainly different to anything we've done on Separate Bathrooms. It's all been about how you fell in love, how you stay in love, So that was really interesting to have that married, divorced, best friends still have a business together. Like I thought that was just an interesting story to listen to them both.
I wasn't sure what we were going to get. I really wasn't.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
The thing, what's why I asked them at the end about how easy was it, to navigate that and then for them to be so honest
Yes.
and just go, you know what, we had our sticky times. It wasn't great. And I loved all that because that to me was, okay, not to diminish what they said at the beginning, where they got to, but to also know that, it is a challenging time. And because we are human, we have emotions and it can be messy.
Yeah. A lot about forgiveness, which is lovely.
Yeah.
Always nice to hear.
Yeah, this is great. This
Yeah.
is a really good perspective. And look, if you're going through anything like that in your life, I hope that you gleaned something, that there is hope,
Yeah.
for some, even if you're not meant to be together, that you can actually continue a friendship.
Somehow
Yeah,
have a relationship of sorts. Absolutely. Thanks everyone for listening. We'll catch you next time.
Good on you. Bye.